Hey everybody, we decided to do another movie night, so welcome to my last round of golf. Hi, hello, and welcome everybody back to my last round of golf. I am AJ Kummel, and I am here with my co-host,
Alec Dietz. Hi, friend.
Hey, what up, sir? How's it going?
It's going well. We decided to do another little movie night because we didn't want to play golf this week, but we still wanted to do something together. So we watched a movie.
I've learned that I need to probably lose a little weight as part of my golf journey, too, because when you start swinging the club as many times as we do, because you got to think how many practice swings you take too. Like, why does my shoulders hurt? Why do my back hurt? And it's like, oh, because you're out of shape.
And the cool thing about getting a sim is that we're able to practice at your house. The bad thing about getting a sim is my shoulders hurt a lot. Like, I don't think I've ever swung this many golf balls in a quote unquote golf season ever in my life.
Yeah, this has definitely been putting me for a workout, and as a larger man, I don't think I've used the word core seriously in my life until that statement. So, but we've had a lot of actual golfing, and so this time we wanted to do another movie night, and this week we're watching The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Yeah. Ooh. Man, let me tell you, that sums up my.
I remember watching this in the theater.
Wow.
So my dad was a golfer.
Yep.
So golf movie, and Will Smith, Matt Damon, like big names, Charlize Theron. So, okay, cool. Like, let's go. This is a movie that is packed with people. Like, Robert Redford is the director of this movie.
Robert Redford tried so hard. He tried so hard.
We had a lot of classic cinema moments. We had a lot of, like, the camera angles and all of these of, like, hey, we're going to pay homage. We're going to do an homage to this. And it was just like watching Community, but about golf and not done as well. And whatever, how many years before? Yeah.
We have the movie on here in the background to kind of refresh our memory of certain scenes and everything. And just it's so obvious from the start that Robert Redford set out. It's like, I want to make a movie with a bunch of really classic movie scenes. And as you go through it, you're just like, none of this is necessary. None of it's necessary.
The movie is over 2 hours, like 2 hours and 5 minutes or so is what our runtime is, and this could have been a story told in probably an hour and 35 minutes.
This could have been like a made-for-TV movie, if it really wanted to be.
We could have really gotten down to just the golf scenes,
We could have.
But,
so let's start with the beginning. It starts in, technically, the movie starts in the year 1999 when you see an old man playing on the golf course. Trails of wonderful shot off into the woods, like so many of us would.
Oh, yeah.
Makes a great comment about I spend more time in the woods than on the golf course, yada yada.
Yeah.
The classics. And then he has a heart attack while retrieving his golf ball and falls down and begins to reminisce about his young childhood life in the year 1929.
So this movie is a man's life flashing before his eyes.
Yes.
And this is one memory that is the best one. Okay, so that's pretty dark. Thank you. Hey, I just do want to call out too. This movie was released in 2000.
2000. So this is a turn of the century movie.
Well, and also thinking about that, this movie exists in a pre 9/11 world.
It does, and I was thinking about it. This is like almost like Titanic kind of style, like heavy romanticization. What?
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's different. Like the world is a different place, and now the way we tell stories is different than the way we told stories back then.
Correct.
And so you can see it. So like that's just one of those. But we start out, and we're in the Great Depression.
We actually start like right before the Great Depression with the story of Juna, Maester. What the hell is his first name? Ranulph. Rannulph, which God bless him for that name. Ranulph Juna, which is played by Matt Damon, and he is a very young, amazingly talented golfer from the city of Savannah, Georgia, and he's up and coming. Won the Georgia, I think, I think they call it the Georgia State Championship because they didn't want to call it the Amateur Championship, but they call it the Georgia State Championship of 1916, and he won that, and he was on the rise.
Yeah.
And then World War I breaks out, and he, as well as like the movie says, the young men of Savannah thought they could lead. God bless them for everything. I would not, but they all enlist and go right over. He serves as a captain in the U.S. Army, and unfortunately, he has a very traumatic experience with his entire company is completely wiped out in one battle, minus him, and then he is awarded the Medal of Honor afterwards, and just spirals into this horrible, drunken, just shell of a man wanders the world. We don't even know where he goes for 10 years.
The word used to be shell shock. Now we call it PTSD.
Correct.
Properly.
Correct.
And Yeah. So different time and.
And so, it's rough. It's rough. So we see him returning to the city of Savannah in 1929, and we are greeted by Hardy Greaves, who is the now young boy who was the old man who quote-unquote died at the beginning. He is a young boy in Savannah working at his father's wood shop, I believe, or kind of hardware store.
He is obsessed
with golf. And honestly, Juna, because his dad has told him stories and has paper clippings up the wall.
They idolize the hometown hero.
Of course, as everyone would.
Golf, you love golf, he goes off to the war, so...
Well, unfortunately, during the time that Juna was gone, he had, before he left, kind of won the heart of one Adele... God, what is her last name?
Charlize Theron.
Yeah, just we're just going to call her Charlize Theron. It's Adele Invergordon.
Which, so her with that southern accent, let me tell you, that is like the few times I've done a spit take in my own home because I forgot about that. And it was one of those moments I was like, oh, I'm so glad this couch is easy to clean because it is covered in
Dude, the southern accents in this movie, as someone from Georgia, is like, what are y'all doing?
I can let mine slide out just a little bit, and this is me putting it on, but that's when I'm with my family. This is kind of how I can settle into, because not all of my family talks like this, but there are people in my family that talk like this. But, sometimes we went to acting school, and so we can get that accent out of our head. But,
Miss Adele is the daughter of the quote-unquote wealthiest man in Savannah. Her father was a magnate of some kind. And
of course, we have the typical mechanism of the Great Depression of like, it did happen, so we can't discount it. But, the wealthy people that see their lives crumble, they do choose suicide as a
correct.
way out.
He built this wonderful, amazing golf course and resort called Crew Island, and when it opened, the Great Depression hit, and he couldn't take it, and casually blew his brains out. And I'm not going to lie.
Very Seagull style, very Anton Chekhov.
All you see is the...
On the blueprints of...
God, you love it. And then you see the hilarious scene to me of Adele spreading his ashes, and they wanted this classic scene of like her collapsing due to her stress, and she just falls. I laughed so hard because it looks like a sniper shot her, and I was like, oh my God, they got her too.
It was like an instant fall. It wasn't like and you're gonna like put your back of your hand to your head and just faint into someone's arms, but there's no one there.
There's no one there, so she just falls on her face. It's so bad.
Oh my God.
It's so bad.
It's one of those that you like, did you hurt yourself doing that?
Yeah.
There wasn't a pad that you were falling on.
Yes.
We saw you fall. That was rough.
And then the next morning, she awakes, and once again, in her own house, in her own mansion, this young, like, presumably mid to late 20s, hot quote-unquote woman is surrounded by 7 old dudes, all in suits, who are right there ready to buy her father's newly built wonderful palace for 1/10 of what it's worth. Because
privacy was a different thing back then.
I hope so.
Maybe locks didn't really work back then. I don't know. I wasn't around in the 1920s.
Well, Adele comes up with this fantastic idea to save her entire estate and her father's creation.
Which is like on the fly.
It is completely just not, she had no idea what she was going to do this, but she is going to get Walter Hagen and Bobby Jones, 2 of the greatest golfers of that generation, to come to her place and play for $10,000.
Like retiring golfers.
Correct. They were on like the very end kind of, they were kind of on the end.
I no longer compete, I just play for money. Mm-hmm. Like, you pay me and I come play.
And what was it, we looked it up, $10,000 is like $173,000.
Inflationcalculator.com, or usinflationcalculator.com, give them a shout out.
Oh, yeah.
So $10,000 in 1929 is $173,199.42. So $175,000 just to come play in an exhibition weekend.
The weekend, just a
4
weekend.
4 rounds in 2 days.
Which is ridiculous.
I mean, it's Savannah, so it is a link-style course. It is nice and flat. Hopefully, judging based on what they were wearing, we were a little bit later in, like, maybe September, October.
Probably.
So there's not a whole lot of trees that have leaves that are going to fall there, so you don't get a whole lot of views there. But...
And then we have the stage that she coerces them both by basically pitting that this movie makes it out to be that Walter Hagen is a sleazeball, just womanizer from the North, Yankee, just evil guy. And she coerces the saint-like Bobby Jones from little old Atlanta, Georgia, to come play because she tells him that Mr. Hagen will be there womanizing and such, and he is determined to beat him because that is wrong.
Oh, he has never done a bad thing in his life.
Never.
It just sounds like, what's the accent of what's his face? The James Bond and Knives Out. Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
Yes. His Louisiana accent's a little.
Hey, hey, I had the first name right. Okay.
I mean, we were close.
Yeah, we were close. There. But she coerces both of these men to come play in this, and as a last-ditch effort to stop her and try and whittle down the estate's worth to buy it again, the local government, literally...
typical capitalism.
Typical capitalism. The local government riots the people of Savannah to say that we must have one of our own competing against, because how dare these, quote, from the movie, how dare these Yankees come here to the true South? Because someone points out that Bobby Jones is from Atlanta, and that's not the true South.
Well, as a golfer, why are they making it a threesome? There's 2 golfers? Or there's 4 golfers.
Correct.
3 is not what you do a little exhibition tournament. But, whatever. Fine. Okay.
And little Hardy Greaves, who happens to be in this wonderful meeting of the entire town hall, mentions that Juna could play. Because everyone knows how good Juna was.
And he just happens to be there when he came back in town.
And he knows exactly where he is for some unknown reason that they never explain, which is also kind of strange. And so the
kids know where things are. They get up to shenanigans.
That's true, they do.
I remember, maybe they don't run around now, but man, I remember, doing hoodlum shit.
doing hoodlum
like things we should not have done in a neighborhood. Just running in the woods. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and so the whole town gets behind him and says, "You run," and it's just another weird scene of almost the Willy Wonka golden ticket scene.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Child running along with everyone possibly cheering him on to go get the magical ticket that is Juna.
A little bit like them going after Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster.
A little bit, yeah.
It's positive, negative excitement, but they're about the same energy there.
Yep. And he ends up finding Juna, somewhat kind of convinces Juna to come. Adele follows him, the whole city follows him, they find him. It's this weird kind of finding out that Juna is this former shell of a man, drunk. Again, Adele offers to sleep with him. This is the second weird gratuitous sex scene of the movie that doesn't need it. There's also a child in the same room.
Yeah, these were very awkward.
It was just weird.
We could have cut a lot of this movie.
Right?
We could have cut all the part of this movie that would exist on Lifetime or the Hallmark Channel.
Correct.
And then we just kept the rest of it.
Just kept the golf part.
And just shipped it on.
And so Juna basically feels immense amounts of guilt, apparently, for having to talk to someone he left 10 years ago, and Adele that he cared about, and starts practicing... to play again. He basically takes these random balls and his former clubs out into this field and starts whacking away. And he's just topping it, slicing it, duffing it.
Middle of the night. Can't see anything.
Total darkness.
Lantern light.
Total darkness. And out of the darkness comes a mysterious figure with a briefcase in the form of Will Smith as Bagger Vance. Which, first of all, do not walk out of the darkness, please.
Yeah,
what? You couldn't announce yourself? You couldn't have said, hey?
As you're coming up within 20 yards or so, just be like, hey man,
how you doing?
I understand this is creepy, but I'm about to walk out where you can see me, so I'm gonna make it so you don't swing the golf club at my face.
Oh gosh, well, go on.
It kind of, this is one of those where in the movie of is he real? Or is this just a mental projection of is Bagger Vance a real
it's already
person?
strange.
Supposed to be.
It's literally the first time we've ever introduced to Bagger Vance, and the first question you have is, okay, who is this guy? Because he has no motivation, he doesn't tell you who he is, doesn't tell you where he's from. You wonder if he's even real before you even know what he is.
And then, Juna just has the, oh, okay, no, food's inside. And it's supposed to be that he's relaxed and he's changed from the, but still, no, just that immediate ease of, no, maybe this isn't a real person.
Who knows?
Maybe this
weird,
is
man.
My weird movie logic mind, and I'm one of those people that I try to read too much into plot. But so, okay,
Bagger convinces Juna to basically let him be his caddy for $5, even though the purse would get him $1,000. He just wants $5 to help him get his swing back.
Yeah, it was 10% a standard caddy.
Correct.
So.
And so we start the next plot of Juna realizes that the next day apparently Bobby Jones arrives, so does Walter Hagen. Juna's announced. The whole town it's literally announced a holiday.
They're waving him on as he's driving down the road.
Correct.
And everybody's cheering him. He goes from stern face and I'm not happy about this. I'm gonna suck and I don't know my game to I have a little bit of a smile now.
Yeah, he realizes he can't just up and leave like he planned to do. He actually does have to go through with it.
Yeah.
So the match starts.
He has to be the hero.
He has to be the hero.
He has to try to fight again.
He has to do it.
Yep. You have to
he
go.
has to, reluctantly, he has to overcome adversity and try again.
Yep.
And so the match starts. And after the first round, which Juna sucks, it's he even says that Juna sucks.
Yeah.
He ends up, I believe, after the first round, I think it was 10 strokes down.
Yeah.
Which is not
like 8
good.
8 to 10 down, and what was... Bobby Jones was 1 under?
Yeah, I think Bobby Jones is 1 under. They focused on none of the golf, really. It's just, hey...
Oh, yeah, no.
This is how bad Juna is.
No golf in the first round.
No. And then we transition into the second round where Juna's getting more frustrated. He wants to quit. There's a magical moment on the I think it's the 17th tee box or the 18th tee box where Bagger basically says, hey, look, just hook it out of bounds. Just hook it off into the water. We won't have to deal with this. I can tell everybody that you got sick and you can go home. And he says that I can't quit. And Bagger says... Good. I just wanted to make sure you understood that, right?
I just needed to make sure you could say those words to me. Good,
correct.
Let's go.
So here we are. Again, he goes through the wonderful second round and sucks again. And now I believe he's 12 shots back, right? And we're having this whole internal monologue of he's not good enough. There's this weird romantic plot with him and Adele where they asked what they loved about each other, and they said they loved to dance, which basically means they love to fucking fight. That's not good in a relationship, AJ.
I mean, you're correct, but once again, back to 2000, like, we had a different world. Like, that was seen as the standard of people opposites attract. People who butt heads are always the best thing. And if you're always at each other, that means things are good. I'm like, no. But, yeah, it ended up being, like, a very weird plot line for them to weave through. Because the rest of her stuff is, like, she's very, like, decisive and this and that. And it was like...
Cold, calculated.
Yeah, and every move she makes is one of those, it's planned and moved because she's learned from her father who built this entire empire and all this stuff. So she's not just going to flippantly do stuff. And we're not, like, are we supposed to believe that she's just going crazy for this boy? Like...
Again.
I understand that, like, yes, but, like, she's now, like, a grown woman, and I understand you regress back to things, yes, I've been through therapy, but whatever. Like, at this time, but we weren't acknowledging that, so what is this?
So it's the whole thing, and so... Bagger's whole philosophy is about the game, and he mentions the game a lot, and there's kind of pushback where he's talking about golf. Is he not talking about golf? Basically, just an allegory for life in general.
Yeah.
And he helps Juna battle and conquer his demons throughout the beginning of the third round, and to the see the field moment, right? Which we're going to watch that scene in a minute and talk about it, which is going to be hilarious. But I just want to make a comment saying that the entire thing that started this was he just said just to focus on Bobby Jones and look at him really hard. And then suddenly Juna goes, oh, that's how you play golf? And starts being much better again. Can someone do that for me? Can someone just take me out to a tournament and be like, hey, go look at Justin Thomas. Look at him really good.
So the progression through the movie of the advice that he received on golf was... Focus. Or watch him. Now focus.
Now focus
more. Now turn your brain off just so you don't fall asleep. So focus harder. Remember all that focusing you did? Throw it out the window and don't think about anything.
Focus on
and just
anything.
play golf. Which actually, like, fits towards my golf game as part of this problem. Of, like, I remember one of the last times that we were up playing, every single time I went to swing from the tee box with an iron or a fairway wood, if I put down a tee, I was getting thrown off and I couldn't hit the ball. And of course, if I just tossed the ball up there and hit one off the deck, boom, dead center of the fairway, because I'm used to hitting the ball off the deck, and sometimes you just have to go, like, hey, turn your brain off and just swing the golf club.
Yeah, and of course, as throughout the third round, he's making this miraculous comeback, even hits a hole-in-one, which... Cool, great, awesome, miraculous.
Going against back the advice. He was, I don't think you need to do that one. He's like, no, I got it. And that's where he starts getting cocky.
He gets a little too cocky.
That's where we start building that up there. That moment.
And he has this horrible moment on on one of the last tees where he tries to cut the corner even though he shouldn't. Like I've done, and rolls right out of the bunker, and then out of the bunker into the water again, and finally ends up, I believe it's 3 strokes back, if I remember correctly. I have to look at that again, because once again, golf is not the main part of this damn movie.
No, they rarely show you scorecards. This was before we had the quiet signs. So
the guy's just yelling hush.
And holding his hand up. We have a very Scottish man yelling at us. Sounds fun.
And we end up, long story short, we end up on the last round where... Juna has somewhat again lost faith in himself and is battling his own inner demons of overcoming adversity and struggling with getting over his past problems.
Which is literally getting over a berm out of a sand trap. Like,
correct.
We're very literal with our metaphor.
Yeah, visually seeing it
over a hurdle, over an obstacle. And he's hitting a driving iron out of a sand trap.
Correct.
We've all hit a 2-iron out of a sand trap.
Absolutely. And he ends up, once again, blocking it off into the woods and has a flashback moment, a PTSD moment, if you will, where he struggles to deal with his demons of the past and letting go of what happened to his men and such, where Bagger shows up and is here to help guide him.
Mysteriously shows up in this, too. It's not like we see him walk up. It's just all of a sudden he's there. Yep. Which also argue that Bagger Vance isn't real. I know people interact with him. I know people call him by name. But, like, are they just placating him like the movie Lars and the Real Girl, where he takes the sex doll around and everybody just pretends that like she's real and he's married to him, like because he's the hometown hero? Or do they know because it's shell shock? Like, is that where we are and we just never get told? Is Robert Redford trying to go really deep with this, or am I just like really trying to read into a 2000s movie?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm reading it.
And then we end up on the he learns to finally deal with his past and swing his own swing, live his own life essentially, and hits a fantastic shot out of the woods through the tiniest freaking window you ever seen in your life, and ends up on the green and putts it. Well, I assume one putts it, and is now tied. Like, tied on the last hole.
If I could hit that swing and make that putt, I feel like all of my childhood trauma might be resolved.
Maybe. Like, you know, that's all we need to do. Just come out here and hit 100 golf balls. We'll get it, right?
Like, if my golf game can magically improve, I'll just give up all the issues and be like, this is no longer a problem. Got it. Cool. Moving on.
The whole thing is crazy, and so we end up on the last hole, all tied. It's dark. They want to call. They approached them about calling the game for darkness. They said no. They'll hang us by our thumbs if we do that. Weird stuff.
Because they like literally got everybody to get all the cars,
and get your cars out there.
When were cars first introduced massively?
I don't know if people
20 years before that.
I don't know if people had that many cars. Also, the guy. I'm just going to point out right now, the guy who says that everybody get their cars is the judge. And for the love of God, they didn't cast John Goodman as that character. Someone needs to be shot.
I hope it was a scheduling issue.
That is John Goodman's character made for him. Anyhow. Yeah. So we end up on the last shot into the green. Last shot. Juna has a good shot or a good chance here, and he reaches down to move an impediment and moves his ball, and realizes he must call a penalty on himself. Bobby Jones, Walter Hagen didn't even want the penalty. But he's got to do it.
Because we talked about it earlier when we were talking to the kid. It's about being honest.
It's about being honest and integrity and overcoming adversity.
Because we had to teach the kid that it's about knowing and loving you. And the kid had to go over his whole journey of like being ashamed of his dad. Correct. But then he learned that the reason that his dad is poor is because he made sure that all of his neighbors and all the people that work for him had money. And like...
Which, I'll throw you a bone here and give you the further credence to Bagger Vance not being real. Because when the ball moves, the kid, Hardy, looks up at him and says... We don't have to tell anybody. Only you know and only I know. Neither of them mentioned Bagger Vance.
Exactly. Oh my God, how did I miss that?
Yeah, neither of them.
The whole conspiracy theory moment is like, okay, he is not standing there.
Correct.
He is not real.
Correct. So then, obviously, he makes a fantastic shot. Right, gets on the green, fantastic, etc., etc., and then Bagger decides to leave. It's his time to go. He's helped him. He's helped Juna find his purpose again and overcome his demons. So he's out of there, right?
Yeah.
Which the kid freaks out. Hardy freaks out. Says, "What if I need you?" Whatever.
Yeah.
You know. Juna freaks out the same way. Oh my gosh, whatever. They said, "Nope, I don't need you." And he walks off into the sunset.
And it's
literally.
It's always our reluctant hero not thinking they're good enough. They always have to battle more. Correct. They always have to do more. Both of these people are reluctant heroes. Correct. One of them is telling the story, and he's a golfer, so he may be lying. But the other one is the actual golfer there. So,
and then we proceed to go on to the final putt, where now you have Hardy acting as the actual caddy with Juna there, and Juna looks to Hardy and asks a question, and Hardy turns into the most amazing green reader immediately and tells him about the layer of dew on the warm grass, right? I don't know how that works.
No, it's the throwback to when they were walking the course at night and he learned all those things from Bagger, and they were going.
The whole thing is weird,
because it was the sun is going to change throughout the day, and if it goes this way, it'll go that way, and so the kid was calling back to that and going, "Oh, I do know this." Which, if Bagger Vance isn't real, that kid was just walking alone in a golf course at night in the 19th. Like, I'm not worried about people hurting him. I'm worried about wild animals hurting him. This is like Savannah, and they're like.
This is 1929.
Like, there are big animals down there. There are wild horses actually in Savannah still. Well, not Savannah, but you know.
Thankfully, Bobby Jones misses his last putt. Walter Hagen misses his last little chip in. And Juna miraculously makes his because he can see the field and see the line. And so we end up in a Wow, convenient. 3-way tie where no one loses and everyone's declared the winner. So anyone who wants to talk about participation trophies, shut the hell up. This movie's just a participation trophy.
Hey, we've been doing... I will always argue it is the parents of our generation that started
Correct.
that, not us. Because you know what? I didn't want the trophy.
I didn't want the trophy.
I wanted the snacks.
Yeah, just let me have a pizza party. How about that?
Yeah, let's all go
Lord.
play and then give me snacks because I was the fat kid.
And everyone cheers as Juna, makes the final putt, and you see Bagger walking off in the distance, and he hears the cheer from the crowd off in the distance, and he does a little jig on the sand, which he doesn't do at all in the movie.
Yeah,
this is not some callback.
It feels like that got cut.
Yeah, it's got to be like him towing Juna how to... I don't know,
yeah.
okay? Something, right? And then he walks off literally into the sunset. And what's weird... what was weird to me is, if we could show this, but we don't have the scene pulled up... They kept cutting back to Bagger just walking away, like it would show Juna and everybody happy, and then literally a 2-second shot of Bagger,
you're supposed
and then
to
everybody
still be
and Bagger.
To him,
it's like
back to him.
What?
Which so that on the beach happened, but Walter Hagen shot off the sand.
Yes, he did.
But when you look at it, there is no movement on the sand.
No, there's not.
It was just like, okay.
He picked it clean.
Like, you just picked that clean
after
up
taking
off there.
a huge drag of a cigarette. Also,
yeah,
which
in which this man is probably because they were all drinking at lunch.
Oh, absolutely. So, they're probably hammered.
They're John Dalying about the course. They just don't have the McDonald's cup full of Diet Coke.
I feel like we should make them do that on the PGA Tour now. You must have drinks at
just one round.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Thursday round or whatever. Everyone gets a cart. Everyone has to wear shorts with the Tiva sandals golf ones.
And after 9 holes, you got to go take 5 shots.
You have to smoke 1 cigarette per 9. Doesn't matter when you do it, how long you do it. During, you have to smoke 1 cigarette per 9.
1 per 9. God, you can't put laws in like that because there's going to be a whole different section of fantasy betting on when the cigarette happens. I can't have my over/under cigarette bets.
Oh yeah, no.
And we come and the whole movie ends basically there. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. We come back to the waking up senior Hardy Greaves as he reminisces about his life and realizes he's not dead yet, or is he? And walks up the fairway and sees the outline of Bagger Vance waving him on as he did earlier in the movie. So is he dead?
No,
is Bagger Vance real?
We're seeing his life flash before his eyes.
It's so cool.
And that is the man walking off into the light with Bagger Vance. I mean, if I go on a golf course, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
If I go at that guy's age, even better.
Even better. I'm on a golf course at 82.
I do dumb stuff on a golf course. There's a good chance I could flip the cart and it could land on me. I'm going to do that at the cheaper courses, though.
It's just so strange, and then and that's the end of the movie. That's it. We got no resolution on. We learned that Adele and Juna had their last dance, and
well, I mean that's not what the story's about. Our hero overcoming his own issues to overcome it. This is a very classical story that's been told 100 times over, and now we're just getting it with golf.
Correct. And we're gonna, if you will scroll down some for me, we're gonna reference the actual background. So the whole plot of this entire movie is pretty loosely based on the Hindu sacred text. I swear to God, don't kill me if I mispronounce this. Bhagavad Gita, which is part of the Hindu epic, and it's where the warrior hero named Arjuna, which is once again Juna, right?
Fair.
Refuses to fight, and their god Krishna, or one of the gods Krishna, appears as Bhagavan, Bagger Vance, to help him follow his path as a warrior and hero that he was meant to be. They literally just almost made a 1-for-1 of this Hindu. We just watched the Hindu version of the Odyssey.
Yeah, I mean,
but golf specific.
Yeah, Hans Christian Andersen did it too, so it's fine. Robert Redford, or who wrote this one?
It was Robert Redford.
No, Jeremy Levin.
Jeremy Levin. Excuse me. Yes, yes.
But
oh boy,
great story. It wasn't received too well when it came out.
No. It was not received for a couple of reasons. Number one, the total overglossing of the entire racial issue in Savannah at the time.
Yeah, it was a little weird of the way that we were just like, oh, okay, we're just gonna focus on
yeah, we didn't care, right? We didn't care about all
storytelling's changed since the early 2000s. Society has grown. We have
Spike Lee used this movie on one of his list of movies as depicting what he calls the magical Negro, I believe is what he calls it, where a black character comes into the scene and helps a mainly white protagonist realize their flaws or errors and helps make them a quote unquote better person before mysteriously just vanishing out of the film.
Oh yeah,
I mean, which is pretty accurate to what happened here.
And we pull through some of the I'll say the racist Asian movies that Americans have made too, because we do that with a lot of different characters. And
I do want to also mention this opened at number 3 behind Charlie's Angels. Yes, that Charlie's Angels. And Meet the Parents.
Hey, Meet the Parents, that was like a cultural phenomenon.
I'm sure it was.
No. Like, I think I remember seeing all of these in the theaters. Because this was back in the time that my parents would like, oh, did you like the intro of Charlie's Angels with Cameron Diaz dancing in her underwear? And I was like, yeah, the underwear looked cute. Yeah, and it was one of those of like, they had no idea that they had a little homo on their hands after that.
Oh, they were so sad.
Maybe they did, but
oh still. Gosh. Okay, so that's talking more kind of about the actual movie itself. It was filmed mostly at Kiowa Island in South Carolina, which not surprising because a lot of the shots are obviously not there.
We golfed near there.
We did. We have videos of us golfing very near there, and maybe one day we will go here.
It's just kind of expensive.
It is
very
expensive.
We're still kind of poor.
And they apparently also filmed most of the golf scenes at Colleton River Plantation. So I think we should actually try and go there, because I bet you that's a lot cheaper than going to Kiowa.
Yeah, I think that actually might be the place to do. Where is that?
It's in South Carolina, apparently just off the Hilton Head.
All right. Oh, yeah, literally.
So, that would be cool. That would be awesome. I would love to go play on the actual hole that they played on. That would be pretty cool.
I'm going to get stuck in that sand
trap. I bet you I will end up in the same woods that he did, and I can have my same PTSD moment, right? Speaking of that moment, can we watch the golfing or the seeing the field moment here?
All right, hold on. Let me get that one up for us.
Oh, gosh. Let's get there.
All right. Where does he have this at? All right. Just you and the ball.
Just you and the ball. Man, I think it's time.
This is me every time I try to go up and hit on the tee box. Just see the field. It's 445 yards thin. You just sit there and tell yourself this
also,
is the
Matt
field.
Damon's southern accent is terrible.
Oh, it's the worst. Like, this is the epitome of we don't know what the South is, and we're never going to send anyone there to get any type of information for us, but we're going to make a movie about it. Like, nobody had been to Georgia when they seen this.
Correct.
Because this does not look like Savannah, too. This very clearly looks like South Carolina. But then again, Southern born and raised here.
Yep. Oh, God.
Also, let me add that whenever we watch professional golf, we really do have to remember how much the game has changed.
Absolutely.
Because there are children just playing in the fairway.
They're literally diving across the fairway.
There are dogs just running around. There's a golden retriever just hanging out there watching the golf game, too. Like, bro, are you really that into golf? But, so this is the moment that we actually have see the field.
Look at I'll be honest, I did like the portrayal of Bobby Jones. I think it was pretty cool. I mean, I think it was definitely that very intense, weird, saint-like figure, I guess.
Which, I mean, at least weird I can understand as a critique of Bobby Jones. And I do love the old pantaloons that we have.
Hell yeah.
Like,
we're going to play in some of those eventually.
The baseball-style pants. Very classy. And I do not want to wear those wingtip shoes.
No. I did like this imagery, though. This is very cool imagery. The whole fading into the field, by himself, etc. Very awesome. Very awesome.
Because he's just telling him, focus, turn your brain off. Focus on what you want to do, visualize what you want to do, and then literally just swing.
Just focus.
But then don't focus. Which is the actual definition of golf. Do this, don't do this. Do this, don't do this.
The sad part is, realize how old we're getting is when I watch these movies, and I think I texted you and said, oh my God, look how young Matt Damon and Will Smith are. God, I hate this.
He is so fresh that he is the Fresh Prince at this moment, too.
Yeah.
Like, because this is the year 2000. I have to remember.
This is right after Men in Black.
I'm in 6th grade.
God.
Am I in 6th grade in the year 2000? Yeah, I was in 7th grade on 9/11. So that's how I orient my life.
Look at him. He in the field.
And look at these people. Look at the dogs. There's multiple dogs. There's a dog just laying down.
Also, he either just played the lowest slice of his life, or he just pulled that thing.
That thing went like this when he actually hit it, and they were like, "No, we'll cut it. Nobody will see it.
You won't see it."
Like, but I mean, that's one of those of you just have to see the field, see what's there, and then turn your brain off and swing. And I think that's what half of my golf game is missing, is the turn your brain off and swing.
That's a very Buddhist line he just talked about, where everything becomes one. I don't really know Buddhism, so I'm going to put that as a disclaimer, right? But I feel like that is what most people would think about, right? So I can see where they're getting this, and it was all based off of a novel written by can't find his name right now. We'll have to look it up later. Seek it with your hands, and then don't think about it.
Feel it. Focus, and then don't think. Focus and think about it, but then don't think about it and do it. And he just has this, you can do it. No, you got it. No, you got it. Because he's not teaching him anything.
No, he's just guiding.
That's part of this journey, is they're not being taught any new skills, new things. It's all of this is inside of you. Everything that is going to happen, you can do already. You just have to unlock it in yourself. Which, is kind of real, but also no. Well, I guess he was already a top level golfer. So
they also have this moment where they're not only overlapping different things he's saying. I'm so glad that I wasn't going crazy, because the first time I heard this, I'm like, is my audio messed up? What? Do I have two windows open with the same movie going on?
Where's the two little the little volume sounds on the tabs? But yeah, and you just flash back, and it flashes back to him as a kid learning with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, nope, I've heard this before. I've been taught this before. Once again, Bagger Vance is not real. This is just the internal monologue of Matt Damon's character hearing his father teach him how to play golf again because of shell shock and those old golf grips.
Cool grips, though, man.
I do love
God, that would hurt so bad.
These are great props. These are great costumes. I can't imagine playing in a sweater.
Bad posture, though.
Then again, I don't play sweaters. There's way too many undulations.
Is this the same angle that they use in Happy Gilmore when he hits the drive?
This is the music at the start of this is the music at the start of the Happy Gilmore. That's what they used as their temp music, was this movie to make fun of. That view of that ball and the way that it shifts that way is all because of this movie too. God, so yeah,
terrible. But yeah, that's basically the big parts of the movie. It's just a movie about overcoming adversity, and I'm gonna give it. So what we're gonna start doing these on a rating scale. What we want to do. Let's do it. Let's do 1 out of 5 golf balls here, right? How many golf balls does this get?
I mean, 3.5.
This is a 2.
It's entertaining to me only because I watched it on Golf Channel 1,000 times as a kid. Because as soon as they got the rights to that, they just played it every afternoon after school.
This has got to be a 2. It's just there's so much unnecessary stuff.
I can go down to a 3.
Fine. It's just
3 golf balls.
And I'll give Happy Gilmore a 4.
And they're noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're noodles. They're not. It's the long and soft golf ball. It was way too long, and it was a little too
yeah. Well, that's all I got for this. I can't go on about this movie anymore.
Yeah, I think we've taken up a little bit too much of your time talking about this movie that did not get the best reviews. But speaking of reviews, we do want to ask, hey guys, give us 5 stars, subscribe, leave a comment.
Please.
It helps, and it does magic, and it makes the numbers go boop 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 or brrr, whatever noise you want to make there. So I guess until next time, guys.
That's it.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.